Ready? Ready?
Good morning to all present here. Respected VC Sir in absentia, respected Deans, HODs, and all my dear faculty, members, and students. Today, we are going to have a session discussing with point of textile design scope with fashion. And here, I would like to introduce our speaker, Dr. Mamoni Probha, Borah ma'am. As working, she is like assistant professor, senior grade in Central Agriculture University, Tura, Meghalaya, with Department of Textile and Apparel Designing, College of Community Science. Dr. Mamoni ma'am have excellence in textile field with 19 years of research experience since 2001. She has an academic teaching experience of 13 years. She completed many projects funded by different agencies like DST, CAU, and many more. She is also a member of BIS, wrote many books and chapters along with paper and article published with good NAS ranking. She has approx 3,500 plus paper which was published in national and international books and chapters, and along with that. She has conducted 25 numbers of training with attending 10 plus conferences nationally and internationally. She has a remarkable knowledge in field of textile. And with this, I would like again Mamoni ma'am to welcome on our platform. Please, ma'am, you are so much, it's a pleasure to have you on our platform. And it's a good opportunity for our students to have a very informative session. And definitely after this session, we will have a questionnaire session where if you have any doubt or if you have any query, you can resolve in their session. Over to you, Mamoni ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ayushi madam. Respected Vice Chancellor sir, respected DE sir, and all faculty members and participants. Today, on request of Ayushi madam, I am going to present a topic which is very much required for the students, especially diploma, that BA fashion designing, even textile and apparel designing, students who are pursuing these courses. So they should know simply studying is not enough. They should also know what is the scope in future, so that they can decide which sector they want to excel. So keeping this in view, we have decided to take this topic, that textile designs scope with fashion. So madam has already told me that in your esteemed university, these students are pursuing fashion designing courses. In our college, we are providing degree 4-year BSc degree courses for students of science stream. So here basically we are teaching about the textile science as well as fashion designing both. But according in your institute, Ayushi madam has said that they are doing on fashion designing. So if we combine these sector together, and then job will be more beneficial for those students who want to shift their shift their interest from fashion designing to textile designing, and even from textile designing to fashion designing. Both courses are interrelated, interdependent. That's why we have chosen this topic, and let's see what are the scope of this textile designing for fashion designing, as well as for fashion designing and textile designing. Before directly going for what is the scope, we should know the difference between job and career. So maximum of our students and among us also, we always seek for job. We hardly think for the career. Now time has come for people to differentiate the job and career. So job is something which you do for somebody else. That means you are working for some other person, and for that you are going back, getting back some amounts or paycheck. It is a short time. Time limit is there. Sometime 1 year, sometime 4 years, sometime 20 years, 30 years, like that. It will be according to the job structure. Yeah. But in career, what happened? It is a long-term process, and when you choose career, it is your internal feelings and your passions which help you to excel in that work, and due to that that patience, it is lasting for a long time, and you are succeeding in your career life. So when one is decided to improve his job or career, he has to know the difference between this. Whether, example, entrepreneur. If you are doing entrepreneur, then you are doing a career. If you are a job like us or some who is doing for particular period of time, then it is a job. So let's see about the fashion designing, design and textile design, what exactly it is. Already in your institute also, you all have taught them that what is fashion designing and what is textile designing. Even though I want to say that fashion designing is such an art which is applied and devoted for designing the clothing and lifestyle accessories. It is for the finished good, and this art is influenced by the cultural and social attitudes and has evolved over the time to time. And this fashion designing has come a long way from designers' clothes worn by the loyalty of the ancient worlds to the hot culture product of the present. This is a fashion designing. But in case of textile designing, it is about creating a design with cohesiveness and finished appearance that can convey sophistication, be it through clothing or for inter-design. So textile design is basically applied on the textile, not on the finished product. Okay, it is of textile, that is fiber, yarn, fabrics. Those things are carried out, textile designing is carried out on those stages. So textile designer usually deal with fiber, yarns, fabric, color, patterns, and material aesthetic. But in case of fashion designer, they deal with the finished garment. So before that, we should also know the difference between fashion designing and textile designing. So what is textile design? Actually, the textile designer create a design to give a life to the textile material. And when this designing is over, this textile material is sent or given to the fashion designing section, where fashion designer will again give another life to that material and create a product which is appealing, aesthetic appealing, and demand of the trend. Textile designing also created design through what? Weaving, knitting, embroidery, and printing, surface embellishment. So surface, usually all this takes place through surface designing. But in case of fashion designing, what they do the styling of the product, that is garment and accessories. Both fashion designing and textile design use computer software, but Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator are the main CAD software which is used by the both section. Only thing difference is that this textile design use it for creating designs for fiber, yarn, and fabric, while in case of fashion designing, they are used for creating designs of a garment or a product or accessories like shoes, bags, like that. So in textile design, what happened? The textile designer students study in-depth study about the fiber properties, yarn properties, fabric properties, different types of colors and color properties. Then color concept, printing techniques, and what will be the effect of those print and printing methods on the fabric, different types of weaves and weaving techniques, knitting process, embroidery, all those knowledge are very much required in textile designing. But in case of these things are not required in fashion designing. Fashion designing requires in-depth knowledge on drafting, cutting, swatch making, sketching, designing of a product. That basic knowledge is required. Textile designer study the fabric trends through website, trend, market survey like runway collections. But in case of fashion designing, they study the styling pattern and demand, market demand. that what style will be more demandable this year, what color will be useful, what type of color fabric will be useful for forecasting. Textile designer focus on surface designing, but in case of fashion designer, they look for style pattern, not the fabrics. So textile design focus on fabrics quality, their designing, then their aesthetic appealing. They give more importance on end use, and it is very important. End use means whether this fabric will go to garment section, this fabric will go to shoe making section, or this will go for technical textile, or this will this particular fabric will go for some sportswear, like that. So it is basically focus on the fabric quality and fabric functional properties. So but the fashion designing sees color and styling, which is very important for them for trend forecasting. So these are the simple some difference between textile design and fashion designing. Then main areas where both fashion and textile industry works together. First one is textile. In this section, whether fiber will be collected and this fiber will be processed. Then from fiber, yarn will be prepared. Then from yarn, fabric will be done. Dyeing will take place in yarn stage as well as in fabric stage. Then finishing. Finishes plays very important role in textile designing. So for what purpose? Whether you are going for a swimsuit or for sportswear or for general wear or for automotive space wear or some geotextiles, like that. So, and the method of production, they give more importance on method of production. What method you are going to, whether it is bonded, whether it is woven, whether it is knitted, like that. And then production. In production, designing and making of garments. Not only garments, here pattern making. So in this section, both fashion designer as well as textile designer can work together. So they can seek job in this production area. And then another section is merchandising. In merchandising, both textile designer can also deal and fashion designer can also deal. Only in textile section, some in-depth knowledge about textile properties, physical, chemical properties, qualities of colors, color properties, how it is prepared, and in-depth chemistry work is required. So according to me, the fashion designer can think that if they want to shift their opportunities in textile sector, then they can go in production section and merchandising section. And if they are very good in designing, they can go for in designing section like weaving and then printing section they can go. So as we all know that a fashion designer creates clothing, including dresses, shoes, pants, skirts, accessories like shoes, handbags for the consumer. He or she can specialize in clothing, accessories, and jewelry design and may work in many modern areas. Now, your student must have learning about this sketching, forecasting, then garment cutting, drafting, then designing, all those things they are learning. So they have that knowledge. But in textile and apparel designing, what they do, the textile designer do the textile designing in a creative field that include fashion design. That same design that what they have created, it can be used by the fashion designer also. This textile designing is not limited to only garment area. It is a vast subject, and it deals with carpet manufacturing, rug manufacturing, drapery fabric, then household furnishing, then other technical textiles. All those things are coming under apparel and textile designing. And this textile designing give more emphasis on the functional product resulting from the textile design. Whatever the design or whatever item or whatever product they are creating, it should have some functional utility. Now, who are the textile designer? So there is a fashion designer also, textile designer also. There may be some confusion in it. So for that, better we should know that who are the textile designers. Textile designers are the professionals who create designing the textile that is used as a product for making apparels and many other products like shoes, bracelets, handbags, accessories, and other household furnishing, interior furnishing, like that. And for that, for becoming a textile designer, you should have some skill. Okay, you have to acquire some skills. Example, excellent understanding of fabric, knowledge of color, shape, size, texture of different combination of fabric, good communication skills to handle the client and the team, understanding of the need of the client and transforming some of the cases so that you can get a better idea, and teamwork is must. This same skill is also required for the fashion designing. So fashion designing students should not get confused that I cannot become a textile designer. Definitely you can become a textile designer, and you can get job in a textile designing textile sector. So you should also have inculcate these skills, that is excellent in understanding of fabric, knowledge about color, shape, texture. I think in fashion designing you are already learning about principle of design, elements of design, color, shape, size, texture, all these things you are learning. And the thing is that you are doing on a garment or a product, and this textile designer are doing in a fabric or a yarn. That is the only difference. So don't think that you won't be able to become a textile designer. Only thing is that you should have determination and trust in yourself. So before going for knowing the scope of this textile design with fashion, we should know some of the questions which will come, which are already coming in your mind also. So in that, first question is that what is apparel and textile science? Because you are dealing with fashion designing, so textile science may not be there in your subject, but to know these things, I have chosen few of these questions for you, so that your doubt will be clarified from it. So textile science is nothing. It is an integrate and development, acquisition, distribution, and utilization of textiles. This textile science option provides you with a broad knowledge of physical and social science. Here you are going to learn about the science also, as well as social science, because you have to deal with the consumer. That's why social science is required, and which are related to study of textiles, clothing, and design. So next question, it will come in your mind, why textile science is important in fashion designing. You may not be knowing or knowing, I don't know, but you are also using science in your fashion designing. So textile science as a subject is an important part of textile designing and fashion designing. So textile designing as a subject, one has to learn about each fabric. So in fashion designing also, I think you are learning about the types of fabrics, how it is produced, like that. So in this, you are going to learn about the fibers, yarns, fabrics, properties, dyeing, printing, and weaving, etc. And one has to learn about each fabric and its uses. So there are vast and different types of fabrics are available in the market, and each fabric has their own utility and purpose. Therefore, in-depth study is required, and it will give you clear understanding of each fabric. Then only one can become a textile designer or a fashion designer and excel in their career. Now you are already studying fashion designing course. In that you are learning about drafting, cutting, designing, all those things. But if you don't know the quality of the fabric, the draping quality, and then purpose for which it is that fabric was prepared, then it will be difficult for you to become even a fashion designer. That's why knowingly, unknowingly, you are already learning in your course. Definitely that part will be there in fashion designing course also. We are also teaching in textile designing and apparel and textile these courses. So another important question is, why textile designing is important? Only fashion design can also work? No, it's not. Textile designing is equally important as fashion designing, because fashion designer will procure the material from the market, and in that market only plain fabric you cannot use. In that, some design, different types of design, pattern, block printing, screen printing, emboss, different finishes, fabrics are available, like wrinkle resistance, crease resistance. So if you don't know about those properties, then how you are going to select that fabric? For selection of fabric for doing fashion designing, you should know that part. And what type of designs are used. You should know the history of design, and how it is going to helpful, and how contemporary design and traditional design are mixed together to produce a good garment or a good fashion apparel, like that. You have to know. That is why this textile design is important, because the nicely woven designs not only enhance and add value to the plain textile, but also enrich the people's lives through improving their home decor. Now, when we decorate our home, we used to buy so many things: sofa with nice texture, curtain with beautiful designs, engraved designs, different, which is attractive to us, we are buying. But how those things are produced, how those designs are fixed on that surface of that fabric, those things is required. That is why textile designing is very important, both in textile design sector as well as in fashion sector. In case of fashion designer, they also need to know about the properties and quality of the fabric, like drape, texture, for which designing is going to be. Example, suppose if you are going to design a swimsuit and a jersey for a football player, okay, sports wear, if you are going to prepare, then definitely the properties of these two fabric is different. So you should know, being fashion designer, you should also know these things, that this fabric is suitable for swimsuit and this fabric will be suitable for what sports wear, like football player, how they wear. And in that dress, some properties, good properties should be there. Example, for football player dress or sports wear, that fabric should be air permeability, so that when they perspire, this perspiration should go air and go away from those pores from the fabric, and fresh air should enter into their body to make them stable while playing. Similarly, for swimsuit also, when you are going to procure the fabric, you should know the quality, that it should be a waterproof, water leakage proof, like that. Okay. So it is a completely different. Therefore, both textile and fashion designer needs to know the importance of textile designing. Designing doesn't mean only their printing or like this. When you are making this one, any apparel or textile from fiber to fabric, different stages are there. In that we use, example, umbrella, fireproof dress, then waterproof dress. All those need science. Okay. In that designing will take place from starting till end, and then product development will be taken care by the fashion designer. So does fashion need science? Yes, definitely it needs science, because fashion is a unique blend of business, art, science and technology. Okay, business, science, art and technology. It requires both polymath. A person can understand all of these skills. And if you are going for studying a fashion in college, you need to learn about the fabric. Similarly, for the textile sector also, you have to know, because these materials are science. And of course, the textile designing science, like textile chemistry, is must. So in our courses, 4-year degree program, we have incorporated all these courses, both designing, textile science and care, then textile finishes, then design development. All those things were included in our course, so that they can excel in all field equally. So that is why in fashion also science is needed, and already those students who are in fashion design course, they are following and using it. Only thing is that they have to realize where they are using. So how does chemistry relate to fashion? This is a very important question, because many people think that fashion do not need any chemistry or anything, any other science in it, only the drafting, cutting. No, it's not like that. In fashion also, chemistry is already present there, and mathematics is there, physics is there. So chemistry and fashion are not usually mentioned in the same breath, but chemistry is absolutely essential for making cloth more affordable, versatile, comfortable, creative, and several types of chemistry are responsible for the creation of fashion pieces, and including polymer, inorganic and organic chemistry. Now, simple example I will give, if polyester fiber or synthetic fibers are prepared from chemical, Okay. Now this chemical, how they are prepared? So chemistry is involved in it. Physics is involved in it. Mathematics is involved in it. That is why chemistry has a great relation with the fashion industry. So how does this fashion relate to chemistry? It is related because if chemistry is there, then only we are able to do the designing. If because of chemistry we are able to producing the fiber, yarn, both this one, especially the synthetic fiber. I am talking about synthetic fiber. Then for this natural fiber also, for processing we need some chemistry. That this yarn count, this size of yarn is required, and for processing these chemicals is required. That chemical is required to get a good quality yarn, and to produce the fabric we use some chemicals in it. Example, stiffening agent for to make the fabric more soft, moisturization we do. So all these are chemistry work. Then for washing, cleaning, then also we are using some bleaching agents for gray goods to make the fabric more attractive and appealing. That is why when it is attractive, then only fashion designer will look for that fabric, and they will convert into a utility product, maybe garment, maybe accessories. That is why fashion and chemistry are both related. And when it is related, definitely it will related to the textile design sector. In textile sector, that's why fashion designer can also think of coming to the textile designing sector. What is the role of chemistry in clothing? It has a great role. The chemistry is applied in every form. In home also we are knowingly, unknowingly we are using. In textile sector also we are using. It is the application of a basic knowledge of chemistry to understand the textile material. Eventually, the textile chemists artistically modify the material into various items that can be used for manufacturing different purposes. So whether it is natural fiber or natural or chemistry is always there in coding. So if you see the properties of it, that our fiber or yarn or fabric, it is more composed of what? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, like that. Those chemicals present in it. That is why we are learning this chemistry. That is why chemistry play important role for fashion as well as textile designing. Then what is the role of textile chemist in textile industry? It has a great role. The chemists here used to play a great role in textile industry, especially in textile industry, because they are the person who are doing researches, and they are the creating new items, and they are experimenting with fibers, chemicals, like that, so that to get a good items. Now space suit, now parachute, then this automotive fabric, all those technical textile, how it comes, because those chemists and textile technologies, they work together and they develop those items. That is why chemist has a great role in it. But for becoming a textile technologist or chemist, for that different degree is required, in-depth knowledge is required in it. So fashion designing, if a fashion designer cannot directly go become a chemist until and unless he will not have knowledge or some courses, adopted some courses on it. Is textile designing a good career? You may think now, fashion, because you are from fashion designing, you know whether it will be good or not. You will definitely, you will think. I will also say that yes, it is a good choice and it is a good career. Only thing is that you, the person who is going to shift or going to be a textile designer or choosing any job in textile sector, it should be very hardworking and enthusiastic. Creativity should be there. Or some of the qualities, skills are required to become there, so that it will be a good career for them. Now, can fashion designer become a textile designer? I will say definitely yes. Of course, yes, definitely yes. Because textile sector is the second largest job giver, okay, occupation of India and all over world also. And first is agriculture. So agriculture will never die, and this textile sector will also never die. Sometimes up and down will be there. Now due to COVID pandemic, so many this one business economic status of this textile sector is going down, but it will never die. Only thing is that one have to choose the right path and enthusiasm, zeal in you with something to do from then others. It will help you in the designer. Hard work is must in everywhere. In fashion designing also you need hard work, and in textile sector also need hard work. Without hard work, you are not to get the reward. So wherever hard work is there, you will always get the reward. Maybe it may be late, but definitely you will get. Therefore, this field is where you earn lots, and in this field, you can earn lots of name, fame, and money. Okay. Thing is that you have to stick to it. You cannot change from this job to that job. If you will do, then all time will be in loss, and you will not excel in that career. So you have to stick. You have to affirm with your decision that I want to be a fashion designer or I want to be a textile designer. But from fashion designer, definitely you can become a textile designer. So these are the some questions I think I have clarified for those students from fashion designing field. So when you may think that whether this career is good for us or not. Sometimes you have that thing in your mind, whether I am choosing right path or not, whether I am going in right direction or not. I will say that yes, you are going in a right direction and you are going in a right path. Being fashion design or textile design, always you are in right path, because those who learn textile designing and fashion designing without a government job also you can survive, because you have that talent and you have acquired those knowledge and talent from the institute from where you are learning, and after coming out from that institute definitely you can do something. Okay, that is why as a career in fashion and textile designing is right for you, and if you are really talented and exude the style in everything you do, definitely you will rise in your career. You must also possess some ability to be original. You should not always copy from others. Okay, always keep your originality. Many famous designer, whether it is textile designer or fashion designer, they keep their originality. They never lost their originality, and they are always creative. Their mind is always creative. Wherever they go, they see some, they get inspiration from it, and they try to from that inspiration they try to convert into a design in field of fashion as well as in field of textile. And you should also always loving and charming and what to say, always make people to look good. So you should feel happy when you are making something for somebody else, designing something for somebody else, and definitely if somebody appreciate your work, you feel happy, and when you are happy you like to work more. That is why in this field there is always a positivity. You must be creative enough. That is one quality you should have, whether it is in textile designing sector or fashion designing sector. You should know about the color concept, color palette, then different types of software used for color application. Especially in textile designing, they use Pantone chip. Okay, Pantone for creating these different types of color shades. And the textures, regarding texture also you should know that what type of texture will be fit for what type of dress. Okay, designing, or what type of apparel designing, or what type of home furnishing other product. And you should be able to express your ideas through sketches. And when some clients are coming and telling you that I want this type of design garment or this type of design in textile product or fabric, then you should be able to get the knowledge or get the idea clearly from them, and that whatever idea expressed by the client, you should be able to visualize it and design the pattern according to make it in a realistic manner. So one must also visualize new design, patterns, garment, accessory, and enjoy working with fabric and accessories. Enjoying is very much important in your work. If you have passion and happy mood in your working environment, definitely you can create a good, beautiful design in field of both fashion as well as textile field. So is fashion and textile design is a good career choice? Definitely I will say yes. So you can opt for fashion designing also, and you can opt for textile designing also. Wherever you go, that you are going to get pay good amount. But before before deciding to be a fashion designer or textile designer, you should know some of the things. Okay, both fashion and textile designing is a highly dynamic and competitive industry. So it is a very highly competitive industry, both sector. I am talking about both sector, because so many fashion designers are there, so many textile designers are there, so many firms are there, industries are there, all want to grow and grow. Okay, so in that case, definitely competition will be there. So it is one of the most sought after career. So already I have spoken that this is the most lucrative career. Okay, if you work properly, definitely you are going to get good salary. And to pursue a career in fashion or textile designing, one must acquire elective skill set, and along beside putting a lot of hard work. You should have talent, you should have creativity, you should have patience, you should have hard working capacity. Okay, you cannot be lazy in this sector, because you have to complete your work in time. If you are not completing your work in time, finish your deadlines in time, then next time you may not get the order. Or if you are working under somebody also, that firm will not get the order next time. As a result, what happen? It will affect your job, or it will affect your career and your impression. So one have to be one skills in themselves. And both fashion and textile designers should not don't think that it is for glamour. No, fashion and textile designing is not just for a glamour. Okay, it is it is not just for glamour. You have to reinvent yourselves with time. Okay, with time you have to create the new designs in textile field also, in fashion designing field also. If you are following the same pattern, then one time will come that nobody will give demand or purchase anything from you, because same style. So therefore you have to reinvent yourself. You have to keep yourself active, and you have to keep your mind busy in thinking for creating new designs. And you have to be ready to explore the option. Okay, simply sitting in room, you cannot create a design both in textile as well as in fashion sector. So you have to see across what is happening nearby you. Okay, you for that when you explore, only exploring is not enough. You have to become a good observer also. When you become a good observer, then you can become a good fashion designer, because by observing the things you can rethink and you can create new design on it, and as a result you can develop a new product. Therefore exploration and observation and reinvent in yourself is very important. When you have this capacity, okay, when you have this quality, then what happen? Create an identity. Okay, big this one designer, whether textile designer or fashion designer, they keep their own identity. They don't mingle with others. Okay, mingle with others means they don't copy other design, or they will keep their typical identity of their designs. Now Sabyasachi is famous for wedding dress. Okay, but some other designer is famous for other like that. By doing that, Sabyasachi is doing this like that in designing. Similarly, when you are going to become a textile designer or fashion designer, you should try to keep your own identity. Okay, of your creation. I am not talking about you, I am talking about the creation. Whatever design you are creating, it should have your own identity. And inspiration is very important. So wherever you go, whatever you see near object, road, stones, people, whatever you are seeing, Then if you want to be in textile designing, then there's some I can, you have to study your stages, your work, your strength, weakness.
I believe speaker Dr. Mamoni ma'am has some network issue. So just hold for a while, student. She's reconnecting again.
Can you hear my voice, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Now, yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay. Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me? Hello.
You have acquired some skills like drawing, presentation skills, self motivation, ability to meet the deadlines, illustration, rendering skills, aesthetic development. Ayushi madam, am I audible?
You're audible. Now you're audible, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are the some subject areas where you can think for your future. So drawing and sketching ideas in that sector, you can think about yourself. Computer aided textile designing, illustration and design, color and creation, drawing and rendering, introduction to textiles, then textile art and craft, basic of designing, structural fabric design, freehand drawing and painting, then computer application. So these textile designing subject areas, these things are, some of the things are learned by the fashion designer also. Example, creative fashion designing. Here we are talking about textile designing, but in fashion designing, you are doing fashion designing. So you just take the inspiration and you can become a creative textile designer. Drawing, sketching, already you are doing in your fashion sketching. So it won't be that difficult to shift in a textile designer for doing some floral motifs, geometrical motifs, like that, okay? Or abstract motifs like that. Computer aided textile design, already you are using in your fashion designing course. Already you have basic knowledge of computer. So only thing is that you have to learn how to use the different software for textile designing. Like in weaving section, we have different software. In textile designing, we have different software. Only you have to know the how to handle that software. And when you learn how to handle that software, definitely you can create design, textile designs also. Then illustration and design, already illustration and designing you are doing in your fashion designing course. Similar way, you take the idea from it and then try to do for the textile designing. And if you have creativity in your mind, definitely you can excel in this field. Color and color creation, these need little bit in-depth study. So for this, you can do some short course, summer or winter courses, and some diploma courses also you can do, so that you can be absorbed in color and creation sector. Drawing and rendering already you are doing in the fashion designing. Same thing you can do in textile designing also. Then little amount of introduction to textile you have to know. I think in fashion designing basic courses, they must be teaching about the types of fabric, quality, but little more in-depth study in physical and chemical properties of textile is required in textile designing. Art and craft, you will know if you have creativity and explore, if you are exploring and this taking inspiration from sources, you can excel in art and craft also. Basic designing, you will know. Structural fabric designing, this is weaving, okay? If fashion designing, I don't know in your course they are teaching or not. Structural fabric design also you have to learn, because design doesn't only take place from, by using block printing, screen printing, or sublimation or like that. No, it is if you see the fabric in-depthly, nicely, properly at your home also, if it is there, different structure fabrics are available. Fabric used in your denim, okay, weave used in your denim, then fabric used in curtain, fabric used in automotive, fabric used in interior furnishing, fabric used in carpet, yarns used in carpets, fabric used in this one, functional clothing, all are different, okay? And structure is also different. So here also you need some extra training, okay? You need on color and creation, you need some extra knowledge on structural fabric designing. Then freehand drawing and printing, you are already following in your fashion illustration course, and computer application already you are doing in your CAD course. So these are the subject area where you can think of, and by doing this you can be employed in textile industry, in printed fabric design for apparel and home furnishing, woven fabric design for apparel, upholstery and carpet, surface designing for wallpaper, gift paper, then other fabrics. These are the some avenues. When you are graduate in textile design, you can go in fashion also, and in home and lifestyle accessories also. You can work as design manager. If you are in fashion, this one, if you are from fashion designing also, you can become a design manager in mill. If you have really you want to, if you really want to do work in mills, okay? Then you can become a design manager. You can work as a brand manager, fashion, home stylist in a retail or brand, research project manager, technical textile technical consultant in craft sector. In media also you can work as a content developer or a fashion or textile blogger. Then you can become a textile designer and merchandiser in export house. From fashion designing also you can come to this. Okay. Then in buying house you can become a merchandising manager and trend analyst. Okay. Because in textile sector also you have to study the trend. How you study for fashion designing, same way you have to study in for textile designing also, textile sector also. Then you can become a creative director, colorist, trend forecaster in design studio. For colorist you need extra qualification. Then and you can become an entrepreneur also. In you can choose, you don't, because textile is a vast area, you choose any one topic. Okay, one area. Example, apparel or home or fashion accessories or interior designer, like that. So online store also you can work as a sourcing head, category head, and in global brand you can work as a product development manager, print graphic designer. Again, for print graphic designer you need some extra knowledge and extra qualification. So what is textile designer actually do? The textile designer will be often be expected to juggle custom project with line project. Custom project means that you will be working with a private level client or a licensor. You will be responsible for bringing their artwork and vision to life in textile product you work on. The role of a textile designer is to make different creative designs and pattern on various kinds of textile. Only it is not limited to creating designs or patterns, but on different types of textile and design, such as bedsheet, household clothing, carpet, towel, sarees, dress, etc., etc., etc. So they are also responsible for working on printed fabrics and developing yarn, trims, etc. Textile designer create two-dimensional designs by using color, texture, fabric, and pattern. They are typically specialized in two major areas of textile, that is interior and fabrics for clothing. Interior and fabrics for clothing. Remember these things. So two sections are there. So it is you decide in which sector you want to do. In textile interior part, interior designing, interior or home furnishing designing, or home decor designing, or fabric clothing. Okay. Besides producing sketches, design samples for custom, textile designer are expected to collaborate with client and technical and marketing and buying staff to plan and develop design. They are highly proficient in accurate interpreting and representing the client idea and possess up-to-date knowledge of new designs and production techniques and textile technology. Furthermore, they are also known for using specialist software and computer-aided programs to develop a range of design. You can become a fabric analyzer also. So fabric analyzer handles the selection process of the fabric, and they are required for designing purpose. They have to make sure that the fabric meets the requirement for which it has to be used, and they have to test it accordingly. So when a fabric is produced in a mill, it will directly not go to the market. Okay, before that the fabric analyzer will do some testing, and if it meets the purpose for which it is prepared, then only it will be sent to the market, or it will be merchandised. You can become home furnishing designer also. And the interior furnishing designer you can become, where and decoration on things like furniture, sofa, various other things found in a home can be done. This is also very a lucrative job. Okay, or you can make your career here, because demand is always there, especially in home furnishing designer. Fashion designer can become here. Here they can opt to this job. You can become colorist. Okay, So color technologists typically have any inquiring mind and enjoy work with science and technology of color application and its subsequent outcome. This professional can find an employment in various sectors of manufacturing industries where they work to produce dyes and pigments for a whole range of products, such as cosmetic, food coloring, furnishing. Color technologist lies with both supplier and end user to carry out this analytical role. In addition to developing new dyes and pigments to provide a specific color, they also ensure that the reproduction of product is accurate and application is even and color has durability. So for becoming a color technologist, you have some special knowledge. Okay, directly you cannot become colorist. So that for that experience is required, expertise is required. So usually the colorists develop the color and they work on even for designing also. This color, that designer takes help from the colorist, and they work on color palette, that is Pantone, and this is a universal color language. Okay, that is a computer aided one. All designers designer use, and they have different color system for different material application. Now for clothing, different for this one for home. Okay, for coloring your home, that then they use different system, color system, but the software will be the Pantone. Okay, but you have to know it very nicely. And the product development, whether the color can be done in fiber stage, yarn stage, or in the fabric stage, or it can be done in block printing or screen printing. In all those printing, we are using this color, and for that, color technologies is very helpful, and lots of prospects are there in as a color technologist, okay, or as a colorist. So the color technologists also do the research market trend. Okay, they do the survey about the price, sales, size, and what color is demand. So this is a lucrative job, but it needs expertise. Okay, without expertising, you can't become a colorist. Then there are different types of colors available in this world. Okay, now these colors are applied in different fields. Suppose if you are working as a colorist in some farm, okay, it will be depending on in which type of farm you are working. This colorist can work in textile farm, paper farm, cosmetic farm, foodstuff farm, medicinal products that farm, toiletries, furnishing, dry laser, liquid display, fraud prevention technique, and inkjet printers. Those are the sectors where colorists can be engaged. And for that, typical or particular subject, you have to be expertise. Either you have to be expertise in analytical chemistry, applied physics, biomedical science, chemical engineering, chemistry, general chemistry, that is, then color science, production manufacturing engineering, textile technology, or coloration. If you are expertise in this above field, any one of these above field, you can be engaged as a color technologist. So these color technologies are employed in chemical industry, manufacturing industry, textile industry, clothing and furnishing, retail industry, and in academic sector also. You can become design consultant. Okay, suppose if you are not doing job under somebody and you are doing, you can do only as a consultant also. You can advise the designer, anyone who is involved in the work of textile designing, about the design, weaves, trends, fashion, fabrics, prints, interior decoration, furnishing, market trends, clients' expectation, etc. So this is the job of the design consultant. You can become fabric resource manager also. Okay, being fashion designer, you can become this one also, design consultant also. Only to become colorist, the extra qualification is required. So the fabric resource manager must know about the marketing and art craft. Okay, the fabric resource manager are hired by the manufacturer for furniture, fashion designer, rug makers, other innovative textile business. So this fabric resource manager can also become a freelance. Okay, freelance designer. Another this one job for this fashion technologies or textile designing, you can become a clothing technologist. In clothing technologies work with the manufacturing and production industry, where fiber, yarn, all those things are fabrics are produced, okay, and are typically involved in selecting, testing the fabrics for the product. These professionals work with a variety of materials, including man-made and natural fibers, as well as leather, fur, metals, plastic. Additionally, clothing technologies source textile that are fit for the purpose and carry out quality control test. So for what purpose you are preparing the fabric, this clothing technologies decide, and they will experiment with it, and they will test whether it is pass or fail, and then only it will be bulk production will be taking place. You can become freelance textile artist, and you can employed as you can be a self-employed freelancer, okay, and work on their condition either online or offline. Nowadays, due to COVID pandemic, you can you start your freelance designing also in fashion designing as well as in textile designing. You can do both online, offline. They are responsible, these freelancer designer, what they do, they are responsible for creating designs and pattern for various textiles and clothing according to the client requirement. Suppose one firm is preparing cushion cover with a typical design. They want typical design, so this freelancer can give their design, so their design to them, and if they like it, they can put quotation on it accordingly. If it is passed, then client can work with them and get their approve and get their pay. One lucrative option is what? Computer aided designing. You are also learning in fashion designing, you are learning computer aided designing, and same thing you are learning in textile designing also, only software will be different, okay. You can see in these pictures some prints are there. This is for weaving technique, okay. This CAD is used for weaving purpose, and this is used for printing purpose. So where you want to work, so you can design accordingly. If you want to do work in printing farm, then you can create this print. You can use print software which is available in market. And if you want to do in weaving technology, then you can use TextCAD for that. TukaCAD is there for fashion designing, okay, like that. Whichever field you are choosing, you should have some basic knowledge on it. So CAD is such a thing that you are already have a knowledge on it. Only how to handle the software, that part you have to know. When you are learning for 1 week like that, then definitely if you have creativity in you, then definitely you can create a good design, which will be demanded by the farms or the client. Another sector, good lucrative sector, is weaving sector, okay. In weaving we do designing as well as fashion, okay. From weaving fabric we can prepare, okay, and in fabric itself we can do the textile designing through weaving, okay. Now this one picture, this is simple weave, okay, warp and weft, already we have learned. Now second photograph is about card. This is used for designing, okay. It can be floral motif, it can be geometrical motif, it can be textured, or it can be only weave, okay, from only weave. Different types of weaves. As example, some basic weaves I will tell. That is plain weave, basket weave, twill weave, then satin weave, satin weave, hopsek weave. So many different types of weaves are there. Those weave can be applied in that, okay. Only in harness you have to change. So you should have knowledge on weaving technology, okay. How weaving, how setting of loom is taking place, how weaving is carried out, both handloom and this one machine loom, okay.
Ma'am, we are not able to see your PPT, so it's just a request if you can please share your PPT so that we can see it.
I have just a minute. Huh?
Yes, actually after rejoining, I believe it needs resetting. So,
okay, just a minute. Can you see now?
yes, ma'am, it's in process. Yes, we can see
okay.
it.
So weaving is what? Weaving is just an interlacement of yarn. Simple weave is plain weave, that is one up, one down. So in fashion designing also, whether you are learning or not, I don't know. But we used to teach a student to prepare sample out of it, different types of weaves. So simple fabric is using in simple fabric we are having this plain weave. Apart from this, different weaves are there like basket weave, twill weave, satin, hopsack, and many more. So these weaves create different texture. Example, now your denim pant. In denim pant, what twill weave is there? You can see if you are wearing also, you can check it. And in your kurta or top or shirt, what you are wearing, in that also different texture appearance will be there. So if without any color, if it is there, then it is a designing in weaving. And if prints is there, then it is a printing technology. Okay. So in weaving sector also, you can get lots of job opportunities. But thing is that you have knowledge on weaving. Okay. And how to create design. So you can do only in weaving also. You can do only the designing, this card making. Okay. This jacquard loom, in carpentry work also you can involve. Like any one field, definitely if you are doing seriously, definitely you will excel. Or it can be a machine loom also, power loom also. Okay, good soles, sole, carpet, then rugs, all these things are prepared through weavings. So weaving sector has an ample opportunity of engaging fashion designer. So what are the sector where this designer can be engaged? First one is production manager. In production manager, if you don't have weaving knowledge also, it will be okay. But textile designer, you have the knowledge. You should have knowledge on the designing through weaving. Okay. In that also you can become textile designer, but you have the knowledge of this graphical and CAD. Then weaving head you can become senior manager weaving sector. Then you can become weaving supervisor, weaving master, assistant weaving manager, loom operator, yarn preparatory in charge, then weaving trainers, executive assistant, assistant manager, and so on. Apart from this, whatever I have discussed so far, fashion designer without learning textile designing, they can be engaged in textile industry. There are different types of job requirements in textile industry. Some of them I have jotted down. Those which are in red color are for fashion designer who can opt there, not the black mark one. Okay, you can become accountant, administrator, advertising and promotion agent. You can opt for clerical according to the qualification. Okay, so if your qualification is good, then you will get good job. If your qualification is not up to the mark, then you will get job accordingly. So I have jotted down some of the this one job where fashion designer can be engaged if you want to be in textile industry. Then computer programmer, data processor, designer, dough flour manager, market analyst, office manager, personnel administrator, production supervisor, public relation agents, purchasing agents, sales manager, sales representative, stylist, transportation specialist, warehouse worker. You can become textile designer, but not the colorist. Okay, textile stylist, assistant stylist, merchandiser in retailing section of textile industry. You can become merchandiser manager, fashion coordinator, or a textile coordinator or assistant textile coordinator. You can become store manager, branch coordinator, personnel director. Then in textile marketing and sales, you can become market analyst, textile sales representative, textile sales manager, textiles advertising and promotion agents, personnel administrator, accounting and finance employee, data processing employee, business planner, public relation agents, purchasing agent. Then in sales and distribution also, you can think about your career, traveling sales representative, independent sales manager, market researcher, or then merchandise control specialist. Jobs in distribution, you can become clerk, order picker, checker, packer, transportation specialist, division director. Then you can become educators, you can become teachers, college professors, county extension agent, then state and federal extension agent, worker, clothing specialist, adult education teachers, consumer educator, and different types of entrepreneur also you can sort. That is sole proprietorship. If you are really interested in field of entrepreneur, then you can start your own sole proprietorship. Partnership you can do, cooperation you can do, home-based business you can do, cottage industry you can do, owner of retail store you can do, dressmaking or tailor shop you can start. Then apparel production business also you can start, trade company you can start, mail order business, and so on you can do. So these of the things doesn't require direct textile designing this one degree or diploma. You can engage in that. What I have mentioned earlier, in those you need little bit knowledge on textile. So who are the prime recruiters? There are many firms and agencies who recruits those fashion designers and textile designers. So you can opt your options. First is textile manufacturing firms. They used to recruit all those. Then textile printing firms, textile department, government textile department. Okay, textile equipment manufacturing firms. If you are textile technologies like that, or textile engineering in that field, then you will be engaged in those manufacturing firms. Clothing brands, clothing and apparel manufacturers, research institute related to textile, example ICR, Silkot, Nirjab, Central Silk Board. Okay, these are government agency research where you can be engaged. And agricultural university, where Department of Textile and Apparel Industry designing is there. In those you can engage as lab technician, expert. Then you can engage as professor, teachers, like that. And in colleges, home science colleges, community science colleges, vocational training centers, then regional vocational training institute. In those you can engage yourself, being fashion designing as well as textile designer. You can also be engaged in, you can get your job even in Krishi Vigyan Kendras as subject matter specialist if you have higher and good degree. Okay, diploma will not work there. You should have degrees for becoming SMS. Textile designer you can become, then technician you can become. And in sericulture department, I don't know about northern India whether sericulture department is there or not. In northeast and in south, sericulture department, state sericulture department is there. In there, the sericulture department, even I think in Chhattisgarh, Odisha, it is there. Sericulture department, they especially engage textile designer and fashion designer. So you can seek job there also. You have to see. You have to Google it only. And handloom department, every state is having their own handloom department. In handloom department also, you can be engaged as a fashion designer as well as textile designer. Then some of the top institute for textile designer. If you want to go for further study, you can opt for this institute. If you want to do in handloom, then Indian Institute of Handloom Technology, it is in Assam, Guwahati. Assam Textile Institute, it is also in Guwahati. Then other institute like Bliss Institute of Creative Art, Bhadohi, Anuradha Engineering College, College of Engineering Technology, Aloka Government College of Engineering and Technology, Institute of Chemical Technology, then Society of Textile Engineering and Institute, Kolhapur, B.R. Ambedkar National Institute of Technology, Jalandhar, Institute of Chemical Studies, Mumbai, the Technological Institute of Textile Science, Textile and Sciences, Bhiwani, Institute of Fashion Technology, which is available in all the states. So you can think, if you really want to excel in that, then you can take admission in those for higher studies. Now thing is that what interested you, you should know whether you want to be in fashion designing field or whether you want to be in textile designing field. You should have interest on that particular area. And you should know what is your own strength, weakness, likes and dislikes. Forcefully don't go to any field. If you go forcefully, then you cannot success. You will be in frustration. Hello. हाँ 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 खत्म होने वाला है. Okay. So you should know what is your strength, weakness, likes and dislikes. Don't follow if you don't like that area. Okay, don't go to that path. Otherwise, you will face the problem. You will be the sufferer. So think about the career category wise. Okay. Now you are young. You are in young stage. You should think about your future also. That whether you can sustain in that field for a long time or not. Whether it will be helpful for you or not, whether you can excel in that area or not. Maybe it is fashion designing or maybe it is in textile designing. Okay, you should think from that point of view, and you should be always have that research. Okay, research doesn't mean you have to work in a laboratory. Okay, you can do at your home also. You can do market survey. That is also one type of research. You can research in your local area what is the demand. All people cannot excel, all people cannot supply or do the designing for the whole fraternity. You can do start your own business also at a small scale, cottage scale, and when it grows, then you can increase your business. So you should know your potential. Okay, first you should know your potential, then only you decide where you then you decide and then ask yourself, then you think about the designing your work, whether it will be a job or it will be a career. Okay, after that only you decide how you are going to excel in your path. Some tips I want to give so that you can be hired. Okay, if you want to go you want to choose a job, you have to make your portfolio so nicely and in a creative way that people will like at the first sight only. Okay, you have to showcase in a nice way, and before joining any job you have to work under somebody's, whether it is textile designer or somebody or good apprentice. So internship, we can say internship also, you have to work in it so that little experience you will have in it, and then you can get promotion in future. Then you have to do the thorough market research before making any decision. Okay, if you want to use your you have to see that what is the prospect of that particular job, or you will is there any promotion, this one promotion can be done in future or not, or whether you can change the job to another one or not, if you are doing in as a job. Okay, if you are doing as a freelancer or you have starting as an entrepreneurship, then also market research is required. Okay, so that you can improve your business, and if nothing you are getting, you can do the freelancing. For that, no restriction is there, you are free, you can do your designing, you can create it, and only thing is that hard work is required. Okay, you have to be creative, exclusive and innovative. You should not be impulsive and impatient. In textile or fashion designing, patience is very important, and don't get disheartened by rejection. That is very important. Nowadays people cannot do this one, bear the rejection, failure, so they do so many things. So this is one of the drawbacks. Okay, you should try to omit this. Don't get disheartened if there is rejection, and start affordable. Okay, if you want to start your own business, start affordable. Don't dream very big, start with a small one, and once you are successful, definitely you will reach the goal. So in conclusion, we can say that this textile designing plays a very important role in economy of our country, and textile and fashion both are the second largest job givers next to agriculture. Okay, so if you want to be in textile designing, you should not be just limited to creating patterns or color of a fabric, or a designer can now specialize in by using new technologies and creating templates, nice templates, and even slogans and textile art. Be a designer or a large company, you can do your freelancing also, and you don't think that option is limited. option is very vast, as wide as sky. With that, I want to conclude and thank you very much. If you have any queries, you can ask, please. Ma'am, not audible. You are not audible.
Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am, for this informative session. And I believe that our students have got very much benefited with the information you provided. Because as I being in my academic days, I was very much confused about textile and fashion. I always got to know that these were totally different field, but you had integrated these two fields and told us about that how being a fashion designer, it's very much a complete, it's a complementary pair if you had a good knowledge of textile as well. So it's really a session which has told us about the many sectors which are providing, which were hiring fashion designer as in terms of textile designer. The government opportunities which we had in textile designing and in fashion designing as well. And the most important thing is all about that the skill and the motivation that indirectly and directly you had always used during the session, so that our students get always passionate and motivated about their field. So I believe it's a very informative session for me and for my students as well, and the students who have joined us on this platform as well. So just I would like to ask with the student, if anyone want to have some, if have some doubt or if have some query, then you can please share on this platform, and definitely I believe that you will get your answer. So I'm just requesting with everyone that if anyone wants to say something or if you wants to have some doubts clear, you can just share your views. Okay, so ma'am, this is the first time when in chat box I can see no chat. That is, I believe it's just because of reason that you told every warp and weft of textile scope with fashion design. There is nothing remaining here. I think that
I hope
that
they have understood my views.
Yeah. So once again, I would just like to thank you once again, and I'm very much heartfelt with your time that you had scheduled for our students and for our this platform. And thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'm really grateful to you. Yeah.
I would also like to thank the institutes that they believe in me, and you have decided to call me as a speaker. Thank you very much for that. So this subject is really a confusing subject. So people get confused what is fashion design and textile designs. So I hope I am a little bit able to clarify to the students, because they are very young and they don't know much.
It is not about little bit.
Yeah.
It is not about little bit. I believe that students were cleared about every that the point which is stuck in mind, which is stuck at mind key, whether we have to go for this or this one is best or that one is best, how we could seek for the career in particular textile design if I am pursuing fashion design. So I believe every part, every bit you covered, which is going to be very fruitful for our students and for their career as well. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this informative session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.